Blind Forest All Skills for you next, and I'm joined by Cobra Muffin, who will be quite honestly handling most of the commentary because this is a very difficult run.
Yeah, it is, and like also for a runner of Primorix's caliber, like you are in for a treat. I can just preemptively say that this is gonna be an awesome showcase.
Yeah. I mean, regardless of how it goes, I'm gonna go for some ridiculous stuff, and we'll just see what happens. Should be a good time.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good.
Yeah. Alright, just moving a couple things, but yep, alright, I am just about ready to go here, so let's kick it off in 3, 2, 1. I have the timer, so I don't know why I'm doing this. Go.
Awesome. Alright, good luck, man.
Alright, better prologue skip than yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah, we did practice comms yesterday, and prologue skip was a struggle. But welcome, this is Ori in the Blind Forest. This is going to be a traditional run of all skills, no out of bounds, no teleport anywhere, no tumble warp. And so basically, this is the most popular category for the speed game itself, and is going to really showcase off like a lot of awesome aspects in Ori. So as a 2D Metroidvania platformer, the goal is to get to all the skill locations and then collect those skills as a fun constraint, and then we'll continue through. But here, we are going to be coming up to our first skill, which is going to be Sign.
Yep, and we are here to celebrate these wonderful games and their wonderful speedruns, so I won't say too much about Sign. But, very important, has a role to play in the run, but sometimes a source of frustration. Hopefully that doesn't show its head here.
We'll be fine. So here in this first fight, we can attack in groupings of 2, but Primorix is going to attack once, cooldown, and then blink with 2 additional hits afterwards. And this is the most efficient way to deal 3 damage, because those Frankies end up having 5 health total. So we do the little bit of a manip, bring it off cooldown, and then we blink twice. So nice Frankie fight there, like pretty clean. You're going to notice that as Primorix is killing enemies and like destructibles, they'll be dropping these golden orbs here, and those are going to be experience. You'll also notice that in the bottom center of the screen, there is no user interface currently active, and that's just because when we turn that off, it will actually end up stopping various toast notifications and stuff from popping up. So you'll see the user interface flash on every now and then, but for the most part, we'll just have it off during the run for safety. But there we go. We actually just ended up collecting another resource, which is a keystone. It's going to allow us to open these doors here as Primorix sets up for an intentional death to be able to get through the key door a little bit faster. So yeah, coming into here, this is going to be Glades. Glades is like the starting area of the game, like in classic Metroidvania style. Nice cycle there, getting past that slime very fast. Primorix actually did a very specific manipulation by jumping at a specific time, which I believe it was either Lucy or Hitachi who ended up discovering that and lopping it out. But yeah, so coming through Glades is just, we're going to be really focusing on experience management. So as you saw in Liftoff's run, who was the runner previously, EXP management is really important for intentionally leveling up at specific times. So Primorix is really close to a level up right now. Should be within 3 experience. Yeah, they are.
And this was a really solid wall jump time too. I think this is sub 310, which is excellent for no reset.
Yeah, that is
not quite, but still very good.
Yeah, that was very, very good. But yeah, here's wall jump. Allows us to touch walls. In all honesty, in all seriousness, like wall jump micro is like some of the most important stuff for top level runners. So you're going to see Primorix really control their cadence specifically on every single wall that they actually end up coming across. So having very specific jump heights and stuff as we see the intentional level up, destroying those spores. But yeah, so like wall jump micro, right? Like getting off of that Trojan lock there and getting the vaults off of the corners to be able to traverse horizontally faster, sooner is going to be really important. But here's a really cool damage boost here. Primorix is going to jump, damage boost to the right, and then go through that spore. Most runners end up slowing down and destroying that spore on the way in, but it's a little bit faster to just use invulnerability frames to get through it.
Yeah, I want to say that was adapted from SBS originally, where you don't
cool.
have the ability to shoot anything, is what I've heard. I totally forgot to save. Okay.
Value, let's go. That was amazing. Yeah, so there, I'm just not even gonna explain that. But so here is gonna be a trick known as Save Anywhere, where we're going to move the ability menu up in the foreground. And so this is all to just hit a cutscene trigger. Leveling up an ability saves the game, and then quitting the menu and reloading allows us to either enter or skip like over 90% of cutscenes within this game. So not just in rando, it's like massive, but like really, truly in like all speedrun categories where you get ability points. Save Anywhere is a massive trick. We don't need to use ability points necessarily on a lot of cutscenes to be able to get this effect. But the important detail is just saving the game after you cross a cutscene trigger allows us to quit the menu in order to enter or skip a cutscene. We'll see a lot of those all over the place. But here we're in Blackroot Burrows in order to get to our next skill location, which is going to be the dash tree for two really good beneficial uses. First one is dash allows us to move horizontally really fast, as well as do a number of things once we level up abilities such as charge dash. And then the second reason is it's the constraint. All skills requires us to get all skills before we can start and finish the final escape. So here Primorix is going to be going through these lasers, trying to catch a cycle. Yeah, playing a bit safe. I like that.
Yeah, I had already missed the cycle by quite a bit, so
yeah.
just trying to make out the next one.
Yeah, and so coming up here specifically, we're going to see Primorix do probably the most recent new tech that was discovered in the game, which is a pause float. So basically doing sort of a save anywhere sort of style.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no! Oh, that's too bad. Yeah, that jump is really, really tough, and I think you just barely missed the pause float, right?
Yeah, I think I literally just clicked the wrong button in the menu.
Yeah, that's all good. It's all good. So coming here in particular, we are going to end up placing a save down and starting a save anywhere. And this was something you labbed out, right, Primorix?
Yes. So just doing this long save anywhere to cut out a little bit of backtracking for the cutscene stack that I'm going to set up here.
Yeah, so there's going to be 3 cutscenes up here that we're going to end up playing around with. And so doing a save anywhere, once again, to be able to enter a cutscene, and then Primorix is going to place down a save and then rekindle that save and quit the menu in order to stack 2 cutscenes together. Then, using that 2 cutscene stack, he's going to activate the tree, allowing him to enter the tree collection cutscene as well. So here's the first one, and then here Primorix is going to save the game, quit the menu, and then here's the 2 cutscene stack. Okay, nicely done. And then we are going to be allowed to do some blind movement here after activating dash tree with that 3 cutscene stack. Very nicely done, and I believe, yep, nice blind movement. Very, very good. That's probably one of the scarier portions of the run, in all honesty, because it's very easy to fall down there. And then the game saves, like at the bottom of BRB, and that loses a really significant chunk of time. But here is going to be our next trick, Frankie Walk. Yeah, so as we mentioned, EXP management is really important in the run. And so whenever you level up, you get an ability point, but also you refill health and energy. Currently, we have a max energy of 2, so we can't get through this 4 energy door necessarily. However, if we put 2 energy into the door, kill this Frankie in order to get the experience to level up, then we get our energy back. Ooh, and you got the legendary energy drop, so you can actually place a safety save if you wanted to, I believe. And that allows us to be able to get into this area, which is known as Death Gauntlet, sequence breaking the requirement of collecting Charge Flame before we head over down into our next biome, which is going to be Moon Grotto.
Yeah, a little bit scary there. I might have been holding right on that first dash, but have a save now and just got to go for this cycle.
Yep, so here's a really big cycle for the Crushers. Let's see if Primorix gets it. And they do! Nicely done. That saves just about 8 seconds. Very well done. What it's really run so far, man. Just like that one slip up with the pause float in BRB. That's it. But everything else has been so clean so far. Cool. Intentional death there once again to be able to get through that key door a little bit faster. And now we're going to come down to double jump tree. And so, like, a lot of optimizations in these sort of portions of the game have really sort of evolved over time with like how and when we end up spending our ability points. Like the tried and true method used to anywhere. We're actually going to spend that ability a little bit here. But as I mentioned earlier, right, just like wall jumping off of walls is really mechanistically complex and like important for optimizing that movement at a high level. Well, now with double jump, the game becomes exponentially more complicated with how we're gonna go through it. So you'll see mostly like Primorix busting out attack like with a backflip as he comes up to the next big sequence break here. Did you get Grotto skip? Yeah, very nicely done.
Yep. A little bit stuffed at the beginning, but got the actual skip, which is the important thing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that was great. And that allows us to skip like the entire left side of Gumo Hideout, which is this lower portion of Moon Grotto itself. But yeah, just a lot of like really tight movement from Primorix here as they are traversing up these walls. But there, yeah, right. Like we don't need to do a save anywhere in order to like skip cutscenes. We can also. Oh, no. Oh, I love it. Thank you for doing that.
Second try is still not bad.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it. So their Primorix totally saved time by doing a turnaround jump dash into a slow down portion where it like slows Ori's speed, and that allows us to retain more speed when you. I don't know. Like it's okay. It's okay. Ori is Ori, right? That's all I need to say. But yeah, this is, in all honesty, probably one of the hardest segments to run consistently at a high level of play for this split. Like coming from double jump tree to enter Ginso, it's like there's just so many tight like little nuances and intricacies that go into double jumping into walls and the like, and controlling your jump heights to be exact. Like there, Primorix wanted to land on the ground and dash immediately, but accidentally vaulted by running into the corner of the ledge. So that was okay. Primorix just knows how to adapt, and they took just a slight bit of a slower cycle there. Yeah, nice.
Yep. And then here, do a little save anywhere to set up a Ginso game storage, basically menu storage trick here, and also checking my experience. So I'm at 214, which should be totally fine, like probably 80% of the time.
Yeah, so normally we have to like stand there and like it's like you're now in Ginso tree, but basically doing some menu storage with some really precise menuing, Primorix is able to move around during that cutscene. So that is another form of cutscene entering that we end up having by doing memory manip. I believe we might see another one in the future, but maybe not. But yeah, so Ginso tree, right? It's our first dungeon. We collected Water Vein and Grotto to be able to get in here. It's a very, very vertical dungeon.
Yep, and then intentional death here to just reset this cycle, and we can just barely get this puzzle block down in time in order to save a bit of time there.
Yeah, so that was a manipulation discovered by M. Rasmus, but we didn't know his screen name was pronounced M. Rasmus, and so we just always called him Mr. Rasmus or Mr. Rasmus in order to name the skip itself. And then years later, we actually ended up finding the truth, which is funny. But here, yeah, just more precise combat. Getting hit there can be a little bit spooky. So Primorix is going to have to sort of adapt in an upcoming area because he is 1 health lower than he wants to do. Because we are going to want to try and set up for an intentional death. Yeah, and so they're just like grabbing the extra health in order to go back up to 3. Each of these spikes are going to be dealing. So here, doing some really precise movement. Oh no, okay, that's fine. So yeah, taking the damage boost there, nicely done. Is going to bring him back down to 1 health. Saving the game, ends up healing 1 HP, and then taking the 2 damage in order to get the ghost door. And we've made it to Bash.
Yep, so this of course is the Ori skill, I suppose.
Yeah.
And yeah, gonna be using it a lot to get around and do some more sequence breaks as well coming up in this segment.
Yeah, so here, like, taking the shot, like, bypassing having to use the teleporter is just going to be a little bit faster to get through. But here's a really tight trick. Nicely done getting the double bash. We'll explain double bashing a little bit later on in the run. Because here is going to be another trick known as key dupe. So here, grabbing these 3 keystones and then intentionally taking death and then putting 3 keystones in, nicely done first try, is going to be able to still save those keystones into Primorix's inventory, but then taking the death ends up respawning those keystones onto the map. And so there, we just ended up creating 3 keystones out of nothing, which saves actually a very massive chunk of time, simply because we, A, no longer need to do Ginso escape in order to clean the water, and then B, there's like a swim section where you'd normally get keystones. Oh yeah.
Got really unlucky with the experience spawns. It's recoverable. I'll probably be like 2 experience lower than I want to be, so I just have to kill a different enemy in Valley to make this work.
Yeah, it's fine. You can even like kill a slime here also if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that'll come into play a little bit later on. And so the experience, like, they can just drop in really silly ways. And so Primorix just got a very unlucky spawn because optimally we don't get magnet like at all until very, very late into the run. And so just not having magnet makes it important. But here's a massive sequence break actually discovered by randomizer speedrunners and then ported over into a main leaderboard category. They're just baiting this frog spawn, another step back to allow him to get into Thornfelt Swamp proper a little bit quicker. It saves about 30-ish seconds overall. And so this just completely bypasses our requirement of doing Ginso escape in order to come over here to Stomp Tree. But yeah, very nicely done. That was a really clean swamp entry.
Yeah, and I did take damage, so I do have to wait for this shot rather than damage boosting up the spikes, but it's not a huge time loss as long as I know what I need to do.
Yeah, and I think that's like a really subtle thing too, right? About like not having the UI on. It's just like always be constantly aware of your resources, like how much health do you have, how much energy do you have. Especially in late game, it's going to be important to sort of keep track of those details, and it's like it's very difficult to do so.
So at least late game, you kind of can just have it on pretty much all the time.
Yeah, Truche, yeah. So here we're coming back through Thornfelt Swamp in order to start progressing over to the left side of the map. But here's Ringo.
All right.
Very nice drumming, Ringo. But yeah, we're collecting a number of ability cells here in order to be able to go up to an ability known as Charge Dash. That was a really cool dash float. But here's a massive skip. Nicely done, saving 18 seconds, skipping that cutscene there. So Bash actually ends up displacing Ori through space. Like, it's like literally quantum tunneling Ori from one point to another. And like not doing a smooth transition. But here's a massive skip. Let's see if Primorix gets it. I'll let him focus.
A little too low on the wall.
That's
Shot was probably too high also.
Yeah. That's okay. So that's like a really tight skip that like top level runners end up going for. But the goal there was to like break the wall and then bash off of the shot itself. So here's going to be Charge Flame Tree. Like normally we would get this skill third in a run, but we ended up getting it way later.
And yeah, I am 12 experience away. The normal enemy you would kill in Valley is just the slime that drops 10, so gonna make up for it by killing a Frankie earlier on instead.
Word. Yeah, good play. But there's just another massive cutscene skip. That's actually one of the longer ones. It's about a minute overall. But here's another ability cell, and then Primorix is going to do something a little bit off route where they're just going to kill a Frankie there in order to get the experience. Yeah. Once again, that EXP drop. Beautiful. And then we are going to continue to the left side of the map. And so there are going to be too many things to explain now. So, like, we're probably just going to non-stop talk through this section. Okay, just gonna breathe for a sec. All right, so first off, we're gonna come up to a trick known as Fast Stompless. So normally, in order to be able to progress to Valley, which is the area we're in now, we would have to stomp some rock to get Glide Tree. However, we are going to do something a little bit different. We're actually going to be luring a spider shot in a specific fashion. And so here we go. So coming up here, we're going to get a spider shot and then bash it at a precise angle. Okay, there goes the shot. And then going away from that area as the spider shot traverses through space, we're going to start a save anywhere, use that spider shot to be able to come up to this ability cell, and then boom, the spider shot is able to go through some terrain that ends up despawning to connect with the rocks. Then we just leveled up Charge Dash. Charge Dash augments Dash in order to allow us to be able to spend an energy to infinitely dash and infinitely use it. However, there's some other properties. Now Dash is going to also be able to be capable of dealing damage as well as homing to enemies. Here is going to be Glide. It's going to allow us to hover, and we're going to use this in the next area. But here's a massive sequence break. We're going to throw an enemy up, charge dash at it, and cancel that with a jump. Then, coming up here, we're going to refill our energy and end up sequence breaking the entire dungeon of Forlorn Ruins by taking this one bird here. So here, luring the bird over, bashing it again. Oh, yeah, the bird was just a little low.
Yeah.
That's okay. We just have to do another one of these rocket jumps to be able to build a massive amount of height. So here, normally, we would go down to Misty and then Forlorn Ruins. And that would bring wind currents up and then allow us to be able to just easily glide in order to get up to Sorrow. However, by taking these birds and manipulating them over, we can actually end up getting into Sorrow a little bit earlier out of sequence. And so this allows us to get Charge Jump, which is also going to speed up Misty nicely. In Sorrow. So even without Wind Restored, we can actually end up just getting into Sorrow and then using Glide. Then, coming into here, we are going to end up canceling out a bunch of charge dashes on this frog in order to bring him up. What? Wait.
I've had that happen before. It's, I think, just some weird, I don't know if it's what, but I wasn't able to lock onto the frog.
Oh, that is bizarre. Yeah, so the camera gets really weird. So you'll notice the camera like zooming in and zooming out. And in order to be able to home in on an enemy, you need to like have a, it's not even vision. There's some other weird property around it. But yeah, here we go. Here is going to be C juggle in order to bring this frog up. This is going to allow Primorix to be able to actually get charge jump tree after getting up to Sunstone. And doing this in this particular order is going to end up saving a number of seconds. But nicely done getting up their second try, and then beautiful rocket jump through that laser cycle in order to get through. Oh.
Okay, experience.
Yeah, you missed the experience pickups.
Being a thing again. Yeah, I got 50, so I'm just gonna get the backup 100. That's too much to make up from enemies.
Yeah, word. Yeah, how do I say this? There's an intentional level up that's going to be coming up at the end of Misty, like minutes ahead from now. And so we really want our experience wheel to be a certain amount completed. Nice stomp there through that laser. So the laser hurt boxes are actually despawned a little bit earlier than the visual sprite indicates. But yeah, up here is going to be charge jump.
Yep. So this exit is a little bit strange. I was inspired by some strats I believe that Ronnie was doing originally, but just do a bash hop and some uncanceled charge dashes because we can get the energy back, which I also did not because apparently one was out of range. So,
oh yeah, so just
even more improv here.
Yeah, I mean, this is like the really difficult thing in like speedrunning this game in particular is there's like a million different elements and like things about resources as we do a downwards rocket jump known as a meteor kick that like Primorix is constantly having to think about, especially in this upcoming here where the movement is like really incredibly optimized. And so being just one energy short really can drastically affect how Primorix ends up having to work through an area. Nice 2 bash method there. And yeah, there's the improv to save that 1 energy that Primorix was missing. So very nice adaptation there. But yeah, like coming through Misty, it's like just a lot of really technical movement. So as I mentioned, consuming 1 energy. However, we can actually end up refunding that energy by either stomping or bashing before the charge dash ends up reaching full length. And so then canceling out a stomp with like double jump, for instance, allows us to be able to chain multiple charge dashes together. So as Primorix is just moving through this section, especially the latter portion of Misty, you'll just like sort of see how just crisp his movement is with like maintaining that energy, right? So it's like, it's fun to think about, right? Because we effectively are like doubling our amount of max energy by just adding in these stomp cancels in particular.
Yeah, and we should be back on track with the route now, so just got to execute the rest of the way.
Yeah, it looks good. EXP looks good. It's at half of the wheel, which is sort of around where you want it normally. But here's a really cool sequence break here, using the homing effect of charge dash on that Cronky to be able to skip that puzzle there. Just very precise trick, and we're glossing over a lot of these, but Primorix is looking a lot of some of the most advanced tech in this game just look incredibly easy. And it is not. It is not. Cool rocket jump there, followed by another one stomping the slime here to push it over. And boom, nice. Able to build that height in order to quickly go through the section. But here's a mini boss. Don't blink. Okay, nice. Just like barely, I don't even know how that like boss survived with like a fraction of its health, but that was still a first phase boss fight. Well played.
Yeah, I think it has to do with the stomp impact from killing the first one actually hitting the second one.
Oh, okay, yeah, that would make sense. But here we have our energy at a really specific amount as well, right? So like Primorix is just burning some energy with some uncanceled charge dashes there, so he just burnt 2 energy because he doesn't need it, right? And so like stomping actually costs a lot of time, right? Because once you start the stomp animation, you have to wait for it to end. So uncanceled charge dashes are really effectively the fastest way, and objectively the fastest way that we have to traverse horizontally within Ori itself. Oh, nice! Wow, that was a nice backup.
I have saved up there before.
Yeah. So here we're going to be catching a really specific laser cycle down here, just moving through that section at a really specific pace. So, oh jeez. I still can't believe you guys go for that. That is so scary, like doing that charge jump that low. Always terrifies me. But they're nicely done, just skipping that cutscene. That is actually one of the longest cutscenes in the game. It's like well over a minute. Like I think it's around 1.5 minutes. So using a save anywhere, leveling up the ability, crossing the cutscene trigger, leveling up that ability to save the game, and then quitting out to menu is going to allow us to skip it. But here, oh yes. Absolutely beautiful. My favorite piece of tech that we have in the speedrun, known as a grenade jump. So throwing a grenade 1/60th of a second. No,
there.
That's your no. You did that yesterday too. Oh, that's okay. It just means more grenade jumps, which makes Muffin happy. So there, this Indiana Jones boulder escape. There we go. Is called the Raziel No corridor because of a very famous all skills no out of bounds and teleport anywhere tournament run, where Raz gave the commentators a good fright, as Primorix did to me.
Yep, managed to land right in the spot where you just die.
Yeah, that was actually honestly incredibly close. Like I think if you had waited like a frame, you would have gone far enough to like not take damage. But here, yeah, we're just collecting 2 additional health cells, one by the Blackroot Burrows teleporter and one more there. Because if you remember, we actually skipped Ginso escape as we do another really cool grenade jump, which was actually a recent optimization within the community. And we're coming into Mount Horu, which is going to have a final escape. But yeah, going up to 5 health is required because there's a poison water swimming section at the end of the final escape in Mount Horu that we're going to do. But here's Mount Horu. You're going to see almost none of it as we do our only one of 2 forms of wrong warping, which is allowed, called the door warp. Nice first try. So on the very first frame, like exactly the first frame, if Primorix enters that doorway on loading the game, it allows him to be able to end up skipping the entirety of the dungeon and causes him to wrong warp to the escape entrance itself. But here we go. Here's the final escape. Doing some blind movement there. Nicely done. But also doing that ends up causing Primorix to not get the energy and health refill from starting the final escape that you normally get. So Primorix is being very careful here to make sure that they have enough energy to be able to do the final grenade jump, which saves significant time. But there, yeah, slowing down a little bit in order to get a specific fish cycle, which is not required, but makes just the 5 HP swim a lot easier. But here it is, final grenade jump. Nicely done, no soft lock. Beautiful positioning. Ooh. Beautiful grenade jump. I think you got every single grenade jump first try. That's incredibly impressive to me.
Even had to do one twice.
But yeah, time's gonna be coming up in about like 50 seconds.
Yeah, solid run. Unfortunate what happened with getting into Sorrow and then just that really weird sea juggle. That was interesting, but got to show off a lot of cool stuff, and I hope everyone enjoyed it.
Yeah, awesome job, man. Time's gonna be coming up very shortly.
Yeah, so this looks like 30:09. Yeah.
Wow, nice. Almost a sub 30 and a no reset is really good.
Definitely.
Good stuff. Yeah, GG's, Primorix.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for carrying the commentary there. That
sure,
takes a lot of focus to be able to pull that out. So,
thank you.
Yeah, very much appreciated, and yeah, just having a good time. Hope everyone enjoyed that run and has fun with the rest of the stream as well.
Yeah, word. If you're interested in trying this out, we have amazing beginners resources, especially the beginners guides by Sigma Sign up on speedrun.com/ori_de/guides. But that being said, I also want to give a major shout out, major hearts to the Ori community, in particular Grease, who is joining us on restreaming for this, as well as the previous runs that you've seen so far. So thank you so much, Grease, for the restream. Really appreciate you stepping up today in order to help us celebrate an awesome game. But don't go anywhere, folks. We have so much amazing content planned for you. In particular, the upcoming run is going to be none other than Will of the Wisps. So we're going to be swapping over to the second game in the Ori Anthology, which is going to be a low percent run by Willow, who is going to be joined by Snowstorm on comms. Good luck, Willow, and I will be back later on for more commentary, as well as doing a run myself of the Blind Forest Randomizer. See you then.